Week 2 of the National Football League play is around the corner. Week 1 is history. Week 2 is a mystery. Week 1 is finally done, and man, was it quite a ride. Week 1 was just full of excitement. Matthew Stafford having his first day as a Ram, and man, was it a day. The Bengals completely upset the Vikings in an absolute thriller of a game. The Raiders upset the Ravens in a hell of a game. The Cardinals beat up on the Titans. The Seahawks beat up on the Colts. And the Niners, to no one's surprise, beat up on the Lions. And at the end of week 1, the NFC West is all tied up at 1-0. Man, this is going to be a tough division. All right, enough with the pleasantries. Let's get right into it. So we are previewing the Week 2 game between the Los Angeles Rams and the Indianapolis Colts. Let's look at the last time the Rams and the Colts played each other. It was Week 1 of the 2017 season, the second season of the Rams being back in Los Angeles. They went 11-5 that year and lost in the wild card rounds to the Atlanta Falcons. The Rams, it was a Week 1 matchup between the Colts. The final score between the Rams and the Colts came out to a Rams victory, the final score of 46-9. An absolute blowout. Let's look at some Colts stats from that game. And before any of you Colts fans in the comments section start freaking out, yes, I understand this was 4 years ago, and I understand the team is much different now, and I'm going to get into that. The starting quarterback, there was actually two quarterbacks that played, but we're going to go ahead and talk about both of them. That played for the Colts, the first one was Scott Tolzien, who went 9 for 18 with 128 yards through the air. He threw for 2 interceptions and no touchdowns. And the other QB to step on the field for the Colts was Jacoby Brissett, went 2 for 3 with 51 yards, no interceptions, no touchdowns. They had 1 field goal, 75 yards on the ground, and 1 rushing touchdown. Now let's look at some Rams stats. The Rams starting quarterback was number 16, Jared Goff. He went 21 for 29 with 306 yards through the air. He threw no interceptions and 2 passing touchdowns. Their backup quarterback at the time, Sean Mannion, also got in. He had 1 play. He went 1 for 1 for 12 yards, no interceptions, no touchdowns. The Rams had a grand total of 63 yards on the ground, 2 rushing touchdowns, and 1 blocked punt for a touchdown, along with a couple of field goals. And the Rams won that game by a final score of 46-9. And before I get into the actual comparison on who I think is going to win this game and why, let's look at some stats from each team from this past week. The Colts played the Seahawks in Week 1 in Indianapolis, and the Colts lost by a final score of 28-16, I'm pretty sure. If I'm wrong, let me know. Carson Wentz went 25 for 38 with 251 yards through the air, no interceptions, and 2 touchdowns. And the Colts had 113 yards on the ground, so some pretty decent stats, and they scored 16 points on the game. So pretty decent stats. Obviously, could be better. And then the Rams, Week 1 stats, Matthew Stafford had a whale of an opener in Los Angeles. He went 20 for 26 with 321 yards through the air, no interceptions, 3 touchdown passes. The Rams had 76 rushing yards and 1 rushing touchdown, and the Rams scored 34 points in their 34-14 victory over the Chicago Bears. So when it comes to the game, so it's going to be in Indianapolis, taking place at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Downtime, Los Angeles, California, in Indianapolis. So the Rams historically have just, they've handled the Colts the last few times that the Rams have met them. Could that be the case again? Yes, but could it not? Without a doubt. Because the NFL, as has been seen over and over and over, is extremely unpredictable. And the reality is, you can't write down in stone who's going to win a game. I'm just saying the perfect example of that was last year when the Rams played the winless Jets. Everybody's like, oh, Rams got no problem, and they ended up losing. So, obviously, when I make a prediction, the word insists on what it actually is. It's a prediction. It's not what's actually going to happen. I predicted the Rams winning this, and so far I'm 1-0. So it's a start. So when it comes to the Rams, they look great. They do. The Rams look great, but I'm not going to say anything regarding their future yet because they don't call the Monday after week 1 over-exaggeration Monday for no reason. Because people go nuts over the teams. Oh my God, look at the Chiefs. They look so good again. They're going to go all the way to the Super Bowl. Let's not over-exaggerate. It's the first game of the season. And this is the largest season in NFL history. There is so much more time to figure everything out. The Rams just look great. They really do. The first game against the Bears, yes, I understand the Bears are a broken organization, let alone the fact, their defense obviously is not what it used to be. It's still a good defense, don't get me wrong, but they're not who they used to be. And Matthew Stafford took full advantage of that and dropped 3 touchdown passes on them. And honestly, the only thing that I can say that the Rams need to get better at is their run defense. I mean, overall, the Rams played pretty decent defense against the Bears, but that's the Bears we're talking about. Against some of these other big-time teams, especially in the NFC West with the Cardinals, the Seahawks, and the 49ers, the Rams can't be giving up the big runs like they were giving up to Montgomery with the Bears. So the Rams' run defense needs to tighten up. Their pass defense looked good. Especially on 4th down stands. There was 2 4th downs, I'm pretty sure, in that game against. There's maybe 3, I don't know, but I know it was definitely 2. But all I know for a fact is that every single 4th down that the Bears went for, they failed. When the Rams need to be clutch, they're clutch, and that's what I like. When it comes to the Colts, Carson Wentz is not the guy. I know some people are probably going to light me up in the comments about this, but I really just don't think that Carson Wentz is the guy that people say he is. I don't think it's as good as people say he is. I firmly believe that he wouldn't have a ring if it wasn't for Nick Foles, straight up. So, not really much to say about the Colts. Once again, like last week, I think the Rams are just a better team. So, if you guys haven't already watched my season prediction video, be sure to go check that out. But I got the Rams winning this one by the final score of 24-10. I really appreciate you guys hanging around for this video. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Drop a like, drop a comment. Tell me what you think of the prediction and what you think is going to happen and what you're most looking forward to for week 2 of NFL play. Thank you guys so much for hanging around. Your house, our house, Rams house. See you guys later.